What if I told you that one of the most beloved entertainers of all time kept a secret? So big, it would change how we see his life forever. Today, we're going to explore the hidden world of Johnny Carson and the love of his life. But first, think about this: could there be a love story we never knew about, hidden behind all the laughter? Johnny Carson was famous for making people laugh with his quick jokes and perfect timing. But his own life was full of problems, sadness, and relationships that didn't last. He could make millions laugh easily, but he had trouble finding his own happiness. His career made him a legend, but his love life often had scandals, arguments, and emotional pain. Even though he could charm everyone on TV, Carson was a complicated person. People close to him knew he was often lonely, unsure of himself, and struggled to keep relationships going. Before we look at his most talked about moments, and how he acted when the cameras weren't rolling, let's learn about the early years that made him who he was, and why he made the choices he did in his personal life. Johnny Carson came into this world on October 23, 1925, in Corning, Iowa. His childhood involved a lot of moving around. His family lived in different towns in Iowa before they finally made their home in Norfolk, Nebraska. During these early years, Johnny found something he would love for the rest of his life: magic. When he was only 12, he started learning magic tricks. He practiced a lot, putting on shows for his family and friends. He was really interested in how magic could grab people's attention, and he got good at making people laugh and enjoy themselves. He looked up to famous magicians and spent a lot of time getting his own tricks just right, learning how to fool people's eyes and make them smile. This early experience performing helped him learn how to be a great entertainer. His love for entertainment wasn't just about magic. He also liked comedy, knowing when to say things for the best laugh, and telling stories. Even when he was a teenager, it was clear that he knew how to get people to listen, make them laugh, and keep them interested. Back then, nobody knew that this young boy doing magic tricks in a small town in Nebraska would grow up to be one of the most important people on television. During World War II, Johnny Carson joined the Navy in 1943 when he was 18. He became a communications officer and served on the USS Pennsylvania until the war ended. Even though he didn't fight in battles, his time in the Navy was important for his future. To keep his fellow sailors entertained, Carson did magic tricks and told jokes. He was very good at making people laugh, and everyone looked forward to his shows. He learned how to understand what an audience liked, and how to change his performance to make them laugh more. This helped him develop his own style of comedy. These early experiences were very helpful when he started working in entertainment after the war. After leaving the military, Johnny Carson was ready to start his entertainment career. He went to the University of Nebraska, planning to study journalism at first. Soon, he realized he loved performing more, so he changed his major to speech and drama. While in college, Carson worked hard to improve his comedy skills. He kept doing magic tricks, getting small jobs at local places for $25 each time. This wasn't just about the money. It helped him learn how to act on stage, connect with the audience, and make things up as he went along. Carson was special because he was naturally funny and had perfect timing. Studying comedy writing taught him how to make jokes work, how to deliver the funny part just right, and how to keep people interested. By the time he finished college in 1949, Carson had already learned the basics for his amazing career. He didn't know it then, but the things he learned in college would help him become the most famous late-night television host ever. He was building his skills and getting ready for something big. Even though he didn't know exactly what was coming, he was determined to make people laugh and entertain them, and he was willing to work hard to make it happen. He kept practicing and learning, always trying to get better. He knew that if he kept working at it, he could achieve his dreams. In 1948, Johnny Carson married Jody Walcott, his college sweetheart, as he started his entertainment career. At first, their relationship looked like a perfect love story. Jody was smart and supportive, ready to build a life with Johnny. However, their marriage wasn't always easy. They faced money problems early on because Johnny was working hard to get into TV and radio. Jody supported him through the tough times. They had 3 children named Chris, Ricky, and Corey. Even with their growing family, their marriage started to show strain. As Johnny became more famous, he faced more temptations. The pressure of the entertainment business, long hours, and Hollywood parties caused problems in their relationship. Jody later said that Johnny was unfaithful, which became a recurring issue in his life. Their marriage fell apart because of broken trust, and they divorced in 1963 after 15 years. For Jody, the divorce was very hard. She had supported Johnny during the hardest years of his career, only to be left behind as he became a star. The divorce took a big emotional toll on her, and influenced Johnny's future relationships. Despite his charm and humor on TV, his personal life remained full of failed marriages and difficult relationships. Johnny Carson's path in broadcasting started small, but his talent was clear. He got his first big chance in Omaha, Nebraska. There, he hosted a morning radio show called The Squirrel's Nest. The show became popular quickly because Johnny was funny and could talk to listeners without a script. His special humor and charm made him a star in the area, and more people started listening. Because he knew he could do more, Johnny moved to California in 1951. He started Carson's Cellar, a comedy show that didn't cost much to make but was creative. It was on Next, a TV station in Los Angeles. Even though it was simple, Carson's Cellar showed how funny he was and how easily he could talk to guests. The show's unusual humor and made-up parts caught the eye of famous people like Groucho Marx and Red Skelton. They both thought Johnny could become a big TV star. People started talking about him, and that was the start of his amazing TV career. Johnny Carson's journey to television stardom began with his growing reputation as a comedic talent, which earned him a writing position on The Red Skelton Show. This role provided him invaluable experience, allowing him to observe and learn from one of comedy's brightest stars, mastering the nuances of television production and comedic timing. A pivotal moment arrived unexpectedly in 1954, when Red Skelton suffered an injury just before a live broadcast. Carson was asked to fill in as host on short notice. He accepted the challenge and delivered an outstanding performance. His seamless takeover of the show, captivating the audience with his charm and humor, demonstrated his innate talent as a television host. This defining moment opened doors to greater opportunities. In 1958, Carson was chosen to host Who Do You Trust?, a game show that highlighted his quick wit and improvisational skills. It was during this period that he met Ed McMahon, who became his announcer and sidekick. Their instant chemistry formed the basis of a partnership that would become iconic in television history. Carson's success on Who Do You Trust? Garnered him national recognition, paving the way for his eventual ascent to the pinnacle of late-night television. In the early 1960s, Johnny Carson's career was taking off, but his personal life was still rocky. After his first divorce, he married Joanne Copeland in 1963. They looked like a perfect Hollywood couple. Joanne was classy and often went with Carson to important events. However, their marriage had problems. Carson's job meant he worked long hours and was always in the public eye, which left little time for them to connect. Joanne was first excited by Hollywood, but she soon became unhappy with the lifestyle. The constant paparazzi, Carson's quick temper, and the stress of being a celebrity's wife hurt their relationship. As Carson became more famous, their marriage got worse. There were reports of loud arguments and jealousy. By the late 1960s, they were mostly living apart. Their marriage officially ended in 1972, and Joanne received a large amount of money in the divorce. Although their marriage once seemed promising, it eventually fell apart because of the pressures of Hollywood fame. In 1962, Johnny Carson took on the job that would become his most famous role, hosting The Tonight Show. Taking over from Jack Paar was a big challenge, but Carson's natural charm, clever jokes, and easygoing way of talking to people quickly made him popular. With Carson in charge, The Tonight Show changed from a regular late-night show into something very important in American life. He was great at making guests feel at ease, whether they were famous stars or people just starting out. His talks with guests were interesting, and often showed sides of them that people hadn't seen before. The show wasn't just about being funny. It was about talking, having fun, and sharing an experience with Carson and the people watching. For the next 30 years, Carson helped many people become famous, including David Letterman, Jay Leno, George Carlin, and Joan Rivers. He didn't just affect television. He changed the whole world of late-night entertainment, setting a high standard for all the hosts who came after him. Even now, many years after he left, Carson's influence on late-night television is still very strong. His way of connecting with people and making them laugh is something that people still remember and admire, and his legacy continues to inspire those in the entertainment industry. The way he conducted interviews and created a comfortable atmosphere set a benchmark that many hosts still aspire to achieve. He understood how to balance humor with genuine conversation, making The Tonight Show a place where both celebrities and viewers felt welcome. His impact on comedy and television is undeniable, and his contributions continue to be celebrated. The stories and moments from his show are still shared and enjoyed, proving that his work has stood the test of time. His ability to discover and promote new talent also left a lasting mark, shaping the careers of many successful comedians and entertainers. The Tonight Show, under his guidance, became a cultural touchstone, reflecting and influencing American society. His presence on television screens every night created a sense of familiarity and comfort for millions of viewers, making him a beloved figure in households across the country. His legacy is not just about the jokes and the interviews, but also about the connection he made with his audience, a connection that remains unmatched. Johnny Carson's comedy was more than just telling jokes. It was about making special times for everyone watching. His jokes were smart, but he never tried to hurt anyone's feelings. This made people from all walks of life love him. He understood how to feel the mood in the room, change his act when needed, and say the funniest part at just the right moment. One of the things people loved most about The Tonight Show was when Carson played different characters. One character was Karnak the Magnificent. Karnak was supposed to be able to know the answers before he heard the questions. This always made the audience laugh. Another favorite was Aunt Blabby. She was an old, grumpy woman who gave funny, often wild advice. These characters showed how good Carson was at acting, and kept people laughing every night. Besides being funny, Carson also knew how to be serious when he needed to be. He could make people laugh, but he could also talk to people about serious things in a respectful way. Whether he was joking around with a guest or helping the country through tough times, Carson's ability to do many things well made him the most important person in late-night television. He was able to connect with people on many levels, which is why he was so successful, and why people still remember him fondly. His show was a place where people could escape and laugh, but also feel like they were a part of something bigger. He created a sense of community that is rare to find, and his influence can still be seen in television today. His legacy continues to inspire comedians and entertainers, and his work remains a source of joy and laughter for generations to come. He truly was a master of his craft, and his impact on the world of entertainment is undeniable. His ability to make people laugh and feel good is a testament to his talent and his genuine love for his audience. He will always be remembered as one of the greatest entertainers of all time, and his contributions to comedy and television will never be forgotten. His unique style and his ability to connect with people on a personal level set him apart from others, and his legacy will continue to live on through his work and the memories he created. He was a true icon, and his influence will continue to shape the world of entertainment for years to come. Johnny Carson, though celebrated, faced controversies and rivalries. A notable feud involved Wayne Newton. Carson, known for his jokes, repeatedly implied on The Tonight Show that Newton was gay. While some saw it as humor, Newton felt personally attacked. The tension grew as Carson continued, despite Newton's frustration. Feeling his reputation was at stake, Newton confronted Carson in his office, demanding the jokes cease. Carson, surprised, was reportedly shaken. This feud exemplified how Carson's humor sometimes caused tension. Despite occasional fallout, Carson remained a dominant figure in late-night television, largely unaffected by criticism from those he mocked. Johnny Carson's talent for blending politics and comedy was truly remarkable, touching people from all walks of life. His opening talks, especially when Nixon was president, became a key part of what people talked about, helping everyone understand what was happening in politics. Carson wasn't tied to any political party, but he was very good at using humor to make politicians answer for their actions. His jokes about the Watergate scandal, Richard Nixon, and the secret tapes are still remembered today. Unlike many comedians today who openly support certain parties, Carson stayed neutral, which made his jokes funny to almost everyone. He had a special way of making people laugh no matter who they voted for. Because he appealed to so many people, he won many awards, like Emmy Awards, Peabody Awards, and the Governor's Award. Even though he was very influential in political humor, Carson never thought of himself as a news reporter or someone trying to make a change. He just wanted to make people happy. But he definitely changed American culture. His jokes influenced what people talked about at dinner, and his opening talks were something millions of Americans made sure to watch. His show became a place where people could laugh together, no matter what was happening in the world, and his humor helped people make sense of the news. He left a lasting mark on television and comedy, and his style is still admired by many entertainers today. His approach to political humor was unique, and his legacy continues to influence how comedians talk about politics. He understood how to connect with his audience, making him one of the most beloved figures in television history. His jokes were more than just funny, they were a way for people to understand and talk about important issues. He made it okay to laugh at the people in charge, which was something new for television at the time. His influence can still be seen in the way political humor is done today. He set a standard for how to be funny and insightful without being mean or divisive. His ability to make people laugh and think at the same time is what made him so special. Even though Johnny Carson was a big star on TV, he didn't want to be in movies. People in Hollywood thought he would be great in films because he was funny and likable. But Carson liked the steady work of TV better than the uncertain life of a movie star. He knew what he was good at and stuck with it. Carson's influence went beyond just his show. He changed the whole entertainment business. In 1972, he moved The Tonight Show from New York to Los Angeles. Before that, late-night TV was mostly on the East Coast. Carson's move made Hollywood a more important place for TV, making Los Angeles the center of entertainment. As Carson became more successful, he made deals that made him one of the most powerful people in TV. He got a special agreement that gave him complete control over The Tonight Show. He also earned a lot of money each year and got to take Mondays off, which was something no other late-night host had before. Other hosts often filled in for him on Mondays, and this helped many of them become famous on their own. Carson's contract let him decide when he wanted to work while still being the top late-night host. This showed that Carson was not just an entertainer, but also a smart businessman. Johnny Carson's third marriage to Joanna Holland in 1972 surprised many people because it happened so quickly and quietly. Unlike his earlier marriages, which everyone knew about, Carson kept this relationship private, maybe hoping it would last. At first, things looked good, with Joanna happy to be a celebrity's wife. However, the same problems that hurt Carson's past relationships came back. He worked very long hours, liked to drink, and had trouble being faithful. All of this made the marriage difficult. Lieutenant Joanna had been willing to live with Carson's famous lifestyle, but she became unhappy with how distant he was emotionally. Even though millions of people loved Carson, those who knew him well said he was hard to connect with deeply. His funny jokes were great on TV, but in private, he could be cold and uncaring. After being together for over 10 years, Joanna asked for a divorce in 1983, saying they could not get along. The divorce cost Carson a lot of money, one of the most expensive in Hollywood at that time. Even though he lost millions, Carson did not show much emotion in public. He was used to relationships failing, and he seemed to think that he might never find lasting love. After 3 previous marriages that did not last, Johnny Carson eventually found a lasting relationship with Alexis Mass, who became his 4th wife. They got married in 1987, and they stayed together until Carson's death in 1925. This marriage was his longest. Some people were surprised by their relationship because Alexis was 27 years younger than Carson. However, people who knew Carson well said that Alexis brought him a sense of calm that he had not had before. Unlike his earlier wives, Alexis did not seem to mind not being famous. She liked quiet evenings instead of going to parties in Hollywood. Carson, who had been famous for many years, enjoyed being with her. Their wedding was small and private, showing that Carson wanted to stay out of the news. However, their honeymoon was very fancy, showing that Carson liked expensive things. Even though he wanted a quieter life, he was rich enough to enjoy luxurious experiences. Later in life, Carson mostly stayed out of the public eye and did not appear in public very often. He spent most of his time in Malibu, living a more relaxed life with Alexis. During his last years, he seemed happier than he had been in a long time. After entertaining many people for decades, Carson finally found peace in enjoying life in his own way. When he died in 2005, Alexis remained very private and did not try to make money from Carson's fame. She respected his wish for a quiet life, making sure that his final years were as peaceful as he wanted them to be. Upon his death in 2005, Johnny Carson had accumulated a fortune of about $300 million. This made him one of the richest TV stars of his time. His many years hosting The Tonight Show, along with smart business decisions and good contracts, made sure he was financially successful. Unlike some other entertainers, Carson was careful with his money and avoided money problems. His wealth was mostly given to his 4th wife, Alexis Mass, and his 3 children. Over the years, Carson's relationship with his family was complicated. While people loved him for his charm and friendliness on TV, those who knew him well often said he was private and kept to himself. He was very different off-screen compared to when he was on TV. He was quick and funny on TV, but in private, he could be quiet and even withdrawn. Even though he was a complex person, Carson's impact is unmatched. He set the standard for late-night TV, influencing many talk show hosts who came after him. He not only made people laugh, but also changed the world of television. He turned The Tonight Show into something very important and became a cultural icon. His influence continues to be felt today, shaping how we view late-night television and the role of the talk show host. He remains a legendary figure, remembered for his wit, his style, and his lasting impact on American culture. His shows continue to be watched and enjoyed, reminding us of his unique talent and the golden age of television he helped create. His legacy extends beyond just entertainment. He became a part of the American identity, a familiar face that people welcomed into their homes every night. His ability to connect with audiences on a personal level is what truly set him apart and ensured his place in history. His journey wasn't always smooth sailing, especially when it came to his relationship with NBC, the very network that made him a star. Even though he was the main person on The Tonight Show, he often disagreed with the bosses about how things should be run, when the show should air, and what kind of content to create. One of the biggest legal fights of his career happened in 1979. He used his power to make a deal that would change things forever. Back then, The Tonight Show was an hour and a half long, but Carson was getting tired of the tough schedule. He wanted to cut it down to just 1 hour. He also managed to get ownership of all the old shows. This turned out to be one of the smartest financial and historical moves in TV history. By owning all those years of broadcasts, Carson saved a huge collection of TV moments that could have been lost forever because of company decisions. This legal win not only changed Carson's career, but also showed other entertainers that they could have more control over their work. Even though his fights with NBC were sometimes difficult, they helped make him more than just a talk show host. He was also a smart businessman who knew how important his work was for the future of television. Guest hosts were very important for Johnny Carson's Tonight Show. They let him take time off while the show kept going. Joan Rivers was the most well-known guest host. People thought of her as someone Carson was helping to succeed. But things changed a lot when Rivers decided to have her own talk show on Fox in 1986. She didn't tell Carson about it first. Carson felt like she had betrayed him. He stopped talking to her and didn't want her on his show anymore. This caused a big fight that people still remember. Carson and Rivers never spoke again. As Carson got closer to retiring, everyone wondered who would take over his job. He wanted David Letterman to get the job, but NBC decided to give it to Jay Leno instead. Many people thought this was unfair to Carson's wishes. This led to a big competition between Letterman and Leno for many years. Carson didn't say much about it in public, but people close to him said he was not happy with how things happened. The end of Carson's time on The Tonight Show was a big change for late-night TV. He had a big impact, but the way he did things was about to change. There would be more competition, different kinds of shows, and more pressure from the news. Carson had created something great, but he knew it was time for him to leave. In 1992, Johnny Carson surprised everyone by announcing his retirement from The Tonight Show after hosting it for 30 years. People thought he would keep hosting forever, so the news was a big shock. However, Carson wanted to leave when he felt it was the right time. His last show, which aired on May 22, 1992, was a very emotional event for everyone watching. Many famous people and friends came to honor him. The most touching part was when Bette Midler sang One for My Baby and One More for the Road to Him. As she sang, Carson, who was known for making people laugh, became very emotional and teared up. It was a rare moment where people saw the real person behind the jokes, a legend saying goodbye. His leaving marked the end of a significant time in television history. Carson had not only created what late-night television was, but he also influenced American culture. His combination of humor, elegance, and natural charm was something that could not be copied. Even though others would host the show after him, no one could bring the same special feeling that Johnny Carson did every night. So, after looking at Johnny Carson's life, it's clear he was more than just a funny TV star. He had a lot of struggles behind the scenes, especially in his love life. Even though he was married several times, there's a feeling that he was always searching for something he couldn't quite find. Some people think he never really got over a particular woman, someone who might have been the one that got away. This idea makes us think about how fame and success don't always bring happiness. Carson's story shows us that even someone who seems to have it all can still feel lonely and have a hard time with relationships. It makes you wonder if the pressure of being famous made it even harder for him to find true love, and if the real Johnny Carson was someone very different from the person everyone saw on TV. Maybe he kept his deepest feelings hidden because he didn't want to show a vulnerable side to the world. It's a reminder that everyone, even famous people, has their own private battles, and that love and happiness can be hard to find. no matter who you are. It leaves you pondering the mysteries of the human heart and the secrets we